What is up, everyone? Who's ready to rock?
As you heard, our adoring fans.
Yeah. All right. Are we live?
What is up?
Hey, what's up, Lou, Buddy, Joe? We've got some Ting Wong. That's good. Andro Taz, Atomic Bulldog. What is up, everyone? Hello, hello.
Hello.
This was interesting. Oh, look, I can see a cat. This was interesting preparing for this, yeah?
Yes, as the world is in chaos and everybody's attention's preoccupied, you can guarantee that Rich and I will be somewhere else nerding out on some artwork on something or another. So you can always come here for a break from it all.
Exactly. I called it, what were we? We were robust, I think. I said jubilant.
I'm definitely robust.
I'm slightly less robust than I was 5 months ago, but not much.
Yeah, he's out there walking every day with his iced coffee.
Right. No sugar. What's up, Victor? How are you? Lake Kick, welcome, welcome. Lou, Nate, what is up? DPLA, hello, hello. Odin, nice. I like that username. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun today.
This was a blast kind of going down memory lane because during this, I realized that a lot of this art I was into long before my interest in comics really took off.
Yeah.
So this is like my first art love was really record cover, album cover art.
Well, yeah, 100% for me, hands down.
And tape. I have one tape art.
Oh, like a cassette?
Yeah, I'm sure it was made into a record, but when I had it, it was a tape. So that was from the 80s. So one tape, rest are records.
What's up, Seven? Hi, Hans. How are you guys doing? We'll give everyone a second to get in. So last week we were so stressed out and nervous. Well, I don't know if nervous would be the right word, but there was just a lot going on in the world. And so we actually forgot to talk about scheduling. So do you want to, we usually chop it up for a few minutes just about the artistic struggles. But you were saying that you and I are very similar, that we work on multiple things at once. And it's difficult to orchestrate things.
Yeah, and I'm usually I have so many things I can keep in my head at one go. And then like right now I have particularly a lot of things to keep up, and like I have it all in my head, and I'm constantly pushing schedules around because sometimes some things are suddenly due faster than others, or can we see a little bit of this because I'm trying to drum up interest, and it's like okay, let me push this a little bit ahead. But I've found that the few times that I have actually made a list and plotted out the dates, it works really effectively. It's just a matter of being disciplined about it.
Right. Well, what's funny is I actually did a 15-minute video for Patreon yesterday, and the bullet point was discipline. It went past scheduling. It went past like setting goals, and ultimately where it all falls is on how disciplined are you going to be, because that is really the linchpin for everything, you know?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of discussion. I don't know if it was us or somebody about what is the most important thing. Great artwork. Great story, cool character. Honestly, just meeting deadlines and communication are like the absolute two most important things of because you don't have to be the greatest artist. Some of comic books most popular and long-standing artists aren't the best. Right. They're just very timely. They're out there all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mike Christian, who was the first professional comic book artist that I met, and he was actually in the chat. It's funny because we met through music, not through comics. And he said there are 3 ways to get and keep working comics. And one is to be, good at what you do. The second is to be a cool person. and 3 is to be able to get your shit in on time.
Yeah.
Any combination of those 3, and you'll have a long and
Yeah, you don't even have to be a cool person if you just get your stuff in on time. They don't. You could be like the nerdiest.
Comics has proved
Yeah,
that
the
again.
most awkward. Because I've met some pretty awkward people that can make some great deadlines.
Yeah.
Me, well, sort of.
Well, it's interesting for me because I actually worked in a studio. Well, you did too, but Wildstorm actually had more artists kind of coming through than Gaijin did. But yeah, is interesting. So hey, let me ask you this really quick. You're super pixelated, and I want to know if you want to try to sign out and then sign back in to see if your connection maybe syncs up. Let me ask the chat. Is Kelsey super blurry to all of you?
Yeah, that might be my. I got really bad internet right now for whatever reason.
No worries. I just figured I would give you the option to maybe like try to dial it in because you're like 16
we could
pixels.
Try.
You want to try it?
I'm like in a Mario game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, all right.
It's just going to be such an epic stream. I would hate for you to be blurry for the whole thing if we could fix it.
I'll have to send you my pics if that's the case. All right, hold on. Let me.
Okay. Oh, yeah. No kidding, right? Give us 1 second. We're going to get everything rolling, everyone.
I wonder if I'd have to like actually restart. I mean, I don't know how to do that.
I can vamp for a second.
All right. Let me try that.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me try that. I'll be right back.
Okay. Cool. All right. So this is very, very exciting. For me, as a lot of you guys know, I was a musician, and really music is what got me into art and what got me into comics. I as a kid, my dad was a young parent, and so it was very, very cool. He had a killer record collection, and as I was probably in 2nd or 3rd grade, I would start to look through it, and the artwork on the album covers just floored me, and it is literally what got me into drawing. And I actually pulled a couple of pieces that actually you will, if you know my work, you'll see direct influence into some of my pieces. I've kind of touched on them, but I have the exact examples. So I think that'll be fun. And then I'm not sure if I have to welcome Kelsey back in. I'm trying to keep an eye on the computer at the same time. And I've done art for bands, not a ton, but most recently, I mean, I did work for Megadeth and I did work for Iron Maiden, which is still kind of trippy and something that I don't know if it ever fully has sunk in. I didn't do album covers for the band, but Dave Mustaine I worked for, and the Maiden. It was actually the same connection. In fact, I'm working for another musician right now that hasn't been announced yet, but it's someone I've been a fan of since I was probably 16 or 17 years old. And so I heard yesterday they're going to announce it in middle of January, what I'm working on. But it's a book that I fully designed all the art for with the team. But I mean, I drew everything. Nothing was drawn. And then penciling and inking it, and then working on Blaster Kid. So 7 says Derek Riggs' Iron Maiden covers were okay. I think okay. I'm going to add Kelsey and see. Yeah, you actually are clearer. You are.
I was uploading artwork in the background, so it was taking up too much of my bandwidth.
You were double dipping.
Yeah, I was trying to get too much done at once. Multitasking. If only this technology can keep up with this brain.
Right. So 7 mentioned Derek Riggs, and we'll definitely touch on Derek Riggs today. What's interesting about Derek is Derek only lives about 30 minutes from me, believe it or not. I've never met him, but he lives in Oceanside, California, which is very weird to me because he seems so like he would be in the UK, and
I think if you're in California or New York, you're about half an hour from anybody famous.
Right. It's just hard to believe that he walks the same streets as I potentially could. That dude, he really is a legend. His story with Iron Maiden is actually a little tiny bit sad. But all right, well, you forgot your bong. Go grab the bong.
Yeah, I didn't know that. He's actually in one of my picks. Actually in the top two
Okay.
of greatest album covers I've ever looked at, and still haunts my waking dreams to this day.
This
He's a
is
special guy.
this is going to be so fun. So let's do this first. Can you pull up the first album cover that you remember seeing that you kind of went like, wow, okay, this is really cool. I want to know more about this. Do you have that?
Yes. All right, hang
Okay.
on. Let
I'm
me.
curious to see what it is. Here we go, folks. Hang
It's
on.
actually, yeah, it's actually one that we were just talking about. So I'll go ahead and pop that one up first. Let's start off with a bang.
Okay.
Um,
I have no idea what this is.
Try to find the best way to like show this. You
let me know if I need to press anything on my end.
All right, since we're doing one at a time, I could do it this way.
Okay. All right. You can show a few. We don't need to go back and forth like one and one. If it makes the if it makes the stream more smooth, then let's just you do a few and then I'll do a few.
All right. Application. Here we go.
All right. Oh yeah. Okay. Nice.
This is Iron Maiden. What, Lost in Time? Somewhere in Time?
Somewhere in Time. Somewhere.
Yeah. My friend, I went and saw him. I had this childhood friend who was all into comics.
Yeah.
And he's the one that initially got me interested, even though I was just kind of like looking at the pictures. I didn't really care all that much.
Yeah.
But years later, I met him up in New Orleans, and he had turned like metalhead. And he had all these albums out, and I saw this one sitting on his floor, and it was like laser focused, like you know, like I just was so drawn to it, and I immediately went over there, and I spent the next 4 days just staring at it, and then I went and got my own copy, and then little did I know that this album cover is kind of synonymous for that very reason. Staring at it endlessly, looking at
there's so much
Bradbury Towers hotels. I mean, for Ray Bradbury, I'm sure.
Yeah,
they had Texas in here, and I lived in Dallas at the time.
Right.
You know, there was just so much, and plus, I was a huge sci-fi nut, and this design was insanity to me. I was just like, oh my god, you know, you could see his like muscles, and you know.
Yeah, it's very interesting because Derek, you know, it's in the United Kingdom, it's not uncommon to go to school for art. Like that's like something the United States doesn't provide the same way that in Europe, you know, you can learn to paint like in school and stuff like that. Like, you know, I don't know what you would call it, but Derek is a legitimately killer artist. I mean, it's like he's not just the Iron Maiden guy. His ability, if you look at the Power Slave cover too, I mean, that is an expertly done painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
There's a ton of like hidden stuff here. I'm wondering if this the lights even on the building.
I kept looking at that too. I keep thinking that maybe if you read it sideways, it's like the silhouette of something. Oh, look, he's got the Led Zeppelin Swan Song guy on the other side of the building. Do you see it? The Falling Angel, right where you were just looking before.
Oh yeah, like
I don't know if I ever noticed that. Or I mean, it may be not necessarily the Swan Song guy, but it's very similar if it isn't. If you look around, you can actually find the club that they used to play at as an aspiring band. I think it is
back here somewhere. Look at this Phantom Opera House.
Yeah, when that's like a song. Yeah.
Ancient Mariner Seafood. I mean, it's just it's like Jeff Darrow before Jeff Darrow. I mean, Darrow might have been gelling on this stuff too.
Right. It's something Arms is the name of the club. Maybe can you scroll farther left?
Maybe right here. Open something Uskin Arms. Maybe this right here. You can't really get any closer.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Truskin Arms. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. I haven't looked at it. Why don't they do a comic of it? So Iron Maiden has had some comics. Like I said, there was some sort of a falling out between Maiden and Derek. I don't know if it's like a, you know, it's just he created such iconic things. I mean, if you look at Pusshead and Metallica, at some point the bands are just so huge that it's hard for them to bring you along for the ride.
Oh yeah, check it out. Seven says, "Look, it's 2 minutes to midnight as well." On
Oh,
there,
that's funny. Oh, very, very good. I didn't.
some,
Oh, that's hysterical.
some shit's about to go down right here.
I'm trying to remember. So because they have Long Beach Arena, but have they done live the live album at this point, or did the live album come after this? Because the live album uh, has a beautiful Derek Riggs painting too, but the whole thing is "Scream for Me, Long Beach." He says it about 1,000,000 times.
Well, after I saw this, he had all of the records, so I immediately went and looked at all of them. And he's, there's like the ones with the pharaohs. There's the Old West one, which I think aren't those like in this one? Like if the inside cover is, no, there's more art to this one. I know.
I would have to break it out. I have all my Maiden, I think, up there. Oh no, you know what? I got all the records out of my office and switched it before. Live After Death. Yeah, Live After Death, Seven is saying, yeah. So Live After Death, he says "Scream for Me, Long Beach," and that was 2 or 3 nights at Long Beach Arena they recorded.
Oh yeah, look here, Long Beach Arena right here.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Hammerjacks. I'm assuming Hammerjacks is a club that they probably played too. Oh, Ancient Mariner Seafood. It says,
yeah, right.
The tiniest bit. That's funny.
Wait. Latest Seafood results. West Ham 7, Arsenal 3. Yeah, SinCon. I mean, there's so much stuff in this.
Yeah, Marquee Club, I see. But yeah, it's like the Ruskin Arms, I think, was the club that they used to play at when they were with Paul Di'Anno. All right, what else you got, Kelsey? Let's keep going. We've got a shit ton of albums to go through.
Hans Roger Alston says, Kelly. For just a second, I was thinking that he was one of my picks, but actually it was... I think Kelly Frias was another one of mine.
And Kelly did the Destroyer album cover and Love Gun. I've got those.
All right, let me see. We do.
Oh, and thank you to Antoine for recommending this topic because it was his idea.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. It was such a blast going. I was trying to think of what are the ones that really impacted me as a kid. And of course, I showed you this one. This is absolutely, and it's funny because I found out later that Stewie Griffin, that this in Family Guy, Stewie Griffin like is creeped out by this album cover as well.
That's really funny.
All right, you got to share the screen.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm all caught up in the moment. So this, how old were you when you said that this kind of scared you? 23.
No. Yeah. No, yeah, it still does. But like I was looking this guy, I was looking him up. I don't know if I switched screens.
Nice.
Where is he? I was looking for. Here he is. Okay. So this cover also has like a lot of history.
Oh wow.
In that like it's there's different versions of it, as you can see.
So
I don't know if I can pop it open.
Was that based on like a book cover, novel cover, if I'm not mistaken? I don't know why, but I think
see Astounding Science Fiction here.
Right. Okay.
See, it just had the one guy.
And who's the artist?
Kelly Frias.
Kelly
who I'd actually put in kind of the Ken Kelly camp, I think. If I'm remembering right, they were contemporaries. I'm not certain.
The human quality of the robot's face is a bit disturbing.
Some of his other stuff, but there was another. There was another version of it. I thought. I guess it was this one where he was reaching in. That might have been on the inside. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, I always loved the robot because I was all into sci-fi and robots and stuff like that. I used to like pick up all those old science fiction books at the school library that were written in like the 50s that showed all the early robot stuff, and it all looked like this.
Yeah,
but that human face with the sad eyes is really what. It was like, what is he? Is he sad he killed him? Is he,
like Frankenstein or Frankenstein's monster, I should say. It's like, oh man, these humans are so fragile. I crushed them,
That was so that's absolutely one of my faves. It's still one of my faves. And all right, I'll show one more and then I'll hand
Sure.
it over to you.
No worries. I mean, I've just got a huge folder full of shit. So
All right, I'm going to show a weird one. I don't know if everybody knows this. I'd be surprised if you didn't, because this album rocks. I love this album. And I'm not sure who the artist is here, so maybe somebody will know.
give me one sec. I'm getting ready to open my files just so I have them. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Jeff Wayne's musical version of War of the Worlds.
That's trippy because there was a piece of art or something that I saw for War of the Worlds that really blew me away maybe about 6 months ago. It wasn't this piece, but it was something tied to... Oh, you know what it is I've heard this music. This music is insane.
Yeah, it's really fun. Some of it's really dated, but there are bits of it that are so resonant, so outstanding, even today.
Right.
Like I'll pop it on occasionally and just go through the whole story, and it's like a little movie. They create a little movie for you. And I always remember this cover. It's just like, I don't know. I like their tripod design for some reason. Like a bug.
Those old time space invader creatures and machinery and stuff like that, I've always found almost more disturbing than stuff that's more designed, like overly designed.
Yeah, it's so simple, and I'd love to go back to that innocence. Like even when you look at like old comic books and their gun is just like a tube with some lights on it, or whatever. There's something to that, I think, that gets to our lizard brains. I think when it gets too complicated,
right?
Like we go, ooh, wow, but that more boiled down one that's more emotional and more in your face, I guess. I don't know, but everybody's different, because I've had that talk before, and people are like, well, I like that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, Jeff Darrow is great, but you give me Jeff Darrow and Mignola, I'll probably go Mignola. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a creepy quality to it. I think also you can inject a little bit more of your own imagination into it, and when stuff is overly explained, there's less of an involvement that I think you get to have as the viewer.
Well, if you notice, a lot of my choices so far are dealing with circumstances that are out of your control.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I guess that used to really terrify me as a kid. Not scare me, but intrigue me, in that it would give you this feeling of like, I don't know, not anxiety, but it was definitely this weird feeling as a kid when I'd look at this stuff, and it it fills me with like confusing feelings and stuff that you don't understand. Terror and existential fear, things like that you don't get when you're 12 years old, but you learn quickly.
Let me ask you this. Did you have a pretty stable childhood, or was it a little more chaotic? Mine was very chaotic and
very chaotic.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, music was my safe space in a weird way. Like
it was too. I mean, what's funny is like I have friends that were just metalheads, friends that are just whatever. But I had all I had was radio, and then like a crate full of records from my mom. So like all the records were like from the 70s and early 80s. I had like the Flash Dance record, and like stuff like that, Moody Blues and thing, and and then I dipped. Oh, and then I listened to the radio a lot, and what was on the radio at the time was like Duran Duran and stuff like that. So I listened to all of that.
I was gonna pull up the Duran Duran Rio cover because it's such a famous piece, but I decided not to because it's kind of simple. But all right, let me I'll start popping open some stuff here. Give me one sec to grab.
Odin 97 says all sci-fi related too. That's true. I didn't really get into my horror phase until probably my late 20s, early 30s, when I was really getting into horror. But man, I was all into sci-fi, and still am. I'm a huge nut, and sci-fi horror is even better.
Okay, I'm grabbing a few. I'm gonna open them in a chunk, and then I'll I'll kind of keep double dipping on it, but I'm gonna grab a certain. Okay, got that. Okay, give me 1 sec. What else?
I love Duran Duran. Jackson Taylor's Duran Duran's one of the greatest bands of all time. I really love. I'm a sucker for 80s new wave 80s. I love punk from the 80s, 70s, 80s. When did punk start? That was like 70s, right?
Yeah, punk was late 70s.
Yeah, I kind of it all blends together up until about 98, I guess.
Okay,
Is when my
so
professional career.
now I'm gonna hit screen share for myself. Which one is it? I'm sorry. Oh, share.
Yeah, share screen, and then I just threw mine into the browser and then shared
Okay.
my
Mine's an
application.
I'm gonna be in Photoshop. So okay.
All right.
So okay, I won't be able to see the chat, but we're gonna go now. We're going into the deep. All right. So can you see my phone?
Yeah.
Okay, so as a kid, I was probably 7 or 8 years old. This is a band called Savoy Brown, which I don't know even a single song from.
I'm not
But
familiar.
my dad probably had 200 or 300 albums. He was a huge music fan. He had just got back from Vietnam. He went to Vietnam when he was 17 and was over there for 3 years. He came back and he was in a really, really bad place, and it was awful. My parents got divorced, and so I was living with my dad, and he was completely out of control. And he was young enough, I mean, at the time, the guy's probably 27 or 28 years old. He's very, very young.
Yeah.
And so he would be gone all the time. He would leave me alone. He would leave at 11 o'clock at night and go drink for 3 hours. It was really, really hard. But he had this killer record collection, so I would go through it. So anyway, this was one of the albums that he had, and I remember as a kid looking through his records and seeing this piece of art and just going like, what in the world is this? And I would stare at this thing for hours.
The art looks familiar. The artist. Is that anybody we know?
I don't know who it is. I tried to look it up online and I couldn't figure it out. The back cover is great too. Where do you see the back? It almost has a little bit of like Ralph Backsy.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of Plug.
Right. Like the bird up here is very interesting looking.
Yeah, there's some definitely interesting influences.
Beautiful, beautiful inks on it too. But I mean, imagine being 7 or 8 years old and being completely enamored and fascinated by it. It kind of had a little bit of a Scooby-Doo vibe to me too. But
when was this? Is this about what, like 70s?
Yeah, it was probably like 78, 79, somewhere around there. Okay, so let me show you the back cover really quick. Let me get out of this for a second because the back cover is great too. Well, don't peek.
Kiss. A lot of Kiss.
Well, yeah, but it's like just is this it?
That's why I never got into Kiss. I never.
That's all right.
I don't even think I know. Oh, I knew one song, that Rock and Roll All Night. That's right. Yeah, know that one.
Hold on, I'll just go like this. I can find it this way faster. Where is it?
I think the only hair band I was into was Motley Crue, because they weren't really a hair band like all the other hair bands. They were kind of dangerous. Actually, all the hair bands were kind of dangerous in their weird way.
Oh, it might be. Is it? Did it fuck me over? Damn it! I saved the file, and it's probably like a file that's like one of those JPEGs that won't open. The back cover of that album is great too, though. Damn it!
Yeah. Roger also says Hanna-Barbera is my soul. That's true.
Okay, so then the other album that he had that really, really was like weird to me, and I just was like, "What in the fuck is this?"
House is Holy.
This House is the Holy, yeah. So this album cover is a huge influence on my art, also, like the black drawing stuff like that. Oh yeah, for sure. It's funny how over the last like 5 years, I've seen this cover get more and more edited for the nudity, which I understand, but it is a piece of art, and I think people need to be a little less sensitive. It's
about innocence in this case. I mean, House is the Holy. It's like us as children.
But this isn't drawn, but the thing is Hypnosis, Storm Thorgerson, and Aubrey Powell, they do so much to these photos that I gave it a little bit of a pass on this particular piece, only because one, it had a huge impact on me in terms of my own art, and two, they are very artistically done. They airbrush the shit out of them. They do all these weird sort of manipulations with positioning of things. And let me show you the inner gatefold, because the inner gatefold is beautiful too. So this is the inner gatefold. And
Really?
if people know my
Remember.
black drawings, I mean, this is my black drawings in a nutshell, where the genesis of that idea came to me when I was 8 years old. I've always wanted to be able to draw imagery that looked like this, but it was hand drawn and pen and ink.
It's like
So,
some Richard Corbin stuff right there.
right.
Like the coloring reminds me of Corbin.
Yeah, yeah. On the right additional influences, these are very wild pieces.
Yeah, like I mean, when I was young, I saw the Houses of the Holy cover too, and I like, you know, you didn't think anything about it. It was just, you know, look how cool this is, or like the music was really great. That was what it was all about. But I
Yeah,
didn't understand anything about anything back then.
yeah. So okay, so then the Kiss solo album covers, they're beautifully painted pieces. Anyone that was a kid in the late 70s or early 80s probably had these. There's just something very fun about them, and it was really the first time that you were ever able to actually look at their makeup up close like this. So it had there was an intimacy that these pieces gave you as a fan that you hadn't really been able to have before.
This is airbrush, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, airbrush used to confuse me so much. I'm like, how do they look at that? It's like,
Like, how is it so smooth?
yeah, it's so smooth. I mean, we didn't even have a concept for computer coloring, so that wasn't even a thought.
Like the little bit of bloodshot in the eyes.
It was more like, is this a photograph or something? Like, I mean, it looks so real. Yeah, the eyes are perfect.
Yeah, this guy, I didn't have time to. I'll get into the Slayer album. So we were talking about album covers that scared us. So I had a friend when I was probably 15 or 16 that got heavily into Slayer, and I went to his house one day and he was showing me this stuff, and I was like, "You are playing with fire, bud. I don't know what you're dude. This shit.
Just don't hold it up in the mirror and say Bloody Mary 3 times or whatever."
Right. I was like, wow, this stuff is frightening, and the music was so brutal.
It was always fun. I always had like that friend whose parents didn't give a shit, you know, and they would always have like this dangerous looking stuff like that, you know, pentagrams and carving Sid Vicious in their knee with a paperclip, things like
this
that.
guy, he was like into meth and acid and Slayer, and I was just like, whoo.
Yeah, that's a fun. It's so funny now because like you look at that and you could see like Temple Smith and like all these other guys, Ashley Wood, you know, that same kind of style.
So this is the invigorated Destroyer album cover. I have the original also, but I thought I would show this. So this is Ken Kelly. Ken Kelly, this was what his original comp for Destroyer. And they resurrected the album. They went in and they remixed it and they kind of repurposed some of the raw tracks and stuff like that, put some solos on. But anyway, they ended up using his original paintings. So it's kind of interesting. But again, if you were a kid in the 70s or early 80s and you were a Kiss fan, Kiss Destroyer was definitely a hot thing for you.
Skullmaster says the music to chase the hippies away.
Right,
I think that might have been Slayer. Yeah, that's fun. They should have had his like tongue out. You know, that's like his thing.
These were two posters that I still have them actually, but these are two Led Zeppelin posters that I always kind of dug. They're black light posters.
Yeah, I've never seen those.
I threw them in. They're the velvet poster with a black light paint on it.
Those are coming back. Black light everything. Yeah.
Here's another Slayer album cover that scared the living shit out of me. It's like this was so hardcore. Like you can't even really understand like how gnarly this was if you weren't a kid when it didn't exist, and then when it did, it was nuts.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that looks like, you know, something a mental patient would scribble with their own feces on the wall of their asylum.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't. My friend's younger brother got into like Deicide, and I don't know if you know the band Deicide, but holy
I've heard
shit!
of them. I don't know their music very
Yeah,
well.
it was like they took what Slayer did and made it even more crazy. So here's the original cover for Destroyer. Again, a very, very highly influential and memorable album cover for kids. I mean,
So I guess Kelly's actually in kind of the Boris. I mean,
yeah,
that kind of like smooth, painterly stuff. That
yeah.
was big in the what was that, the 80s, I guess, 70s, 80s. I
I
don't
always
know. It's
wondered.
really cool.
I always wondered what went on with Paul's leg right here. There's like a little bit of like a weird pain out. Even as a kid, this always
Oh
caught
yeah,
my eye, and I was like, it's not smoke, but it's like just there's like a little smudge right there. It
that's
was always,
weird. Like, why would they do that? I mean, you could have even fixed it, just blackened it out. But
yeah,
I love the caricature in this piece. There's a lot of, you don't really see this kind of,
Peter's
you know,
face, right?
it's funny looking at this now. You realize how good a choice Michael Golden was to get to do Kiss covers.
Right.
He was doing Kiss covers at for McFarlane.
Okay, so then I have tons more. I wanted to show this. So this is a friend of mine's dad did this album cover, and there's a lot of confusion around it, or well, some confusion. So this is Scorpions Blackout, very, very famous painted.
I know this one.
Right.
Your dad's friend did this?
Yeah. So, but there's so everyone assumes that this is Rudolf Schenker, the guitarist for Scorpions. It looks just like him. I mean, you just there wouldn't be a reason that you wouldn't think it was him, but it's actually the painter Gottfried Hellman. And this is Gottfried. So Gottfried is a very, very famous fine artist painter. In fact, he's incredibly like world famous. And he's German, and so it just ended up that he did this album cover. But he's really not an illustrator as much as a fine artist.
The
But
glass, perfect.
yeah, but this is painted, which is so nuts. The detail on this is absolutely astounding.
He's even got the skin pores and stuff.
Yeah,
and the wrinkles of the stretching.
Hellman is a badass. I actually got to meet him, and I was so freaking nervous. It was literally like meeting Dracula. That's the only way I can. So he lives in a castle in Ireland. They have a beautiful, beautiful castle.
Of course he does.
Huge. Kelsey, you've never seen anything like what's going on with this guy. I'm telling you. And so anyway, they have a studio up in Los Angeles, and they come and they live in LA for a few months during the year. And I became friends with his son online, who's a photographer. But I went up there, and so I'm in his studio looking at his paintings, and like his dad walks in, and you have to like Google photos of him. But it was so scary meeting him, and he was looking at my black drawings. I was freaking out.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is you look at that and you go, "Oh my God, those forks are intense," and then you see the photo and he's actually got them on his, in his eyes.
Yeah. He grew up in Germany right after World War II, and so a lot of his art is very politically charged and kind of. There's a lot of like Nazi symbolism and stuff like in that, not pro-Nazi symbolism, but it's pretty hardcore art. It's pretty controversial.
Interesting to see what kind of art comes out of these times, because these are some of the most tense kind of times I remember in just society. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of art comes out of these times.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I'm opening the big batch. Do you want to do another chunk of album covers yourself?
Yeah,
now?
let me show you one of my most terrifying covers. One that really.
To this. Okay.
Just,
you let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, this one just I couldn't stop looking at it, but it also just filled me with like nightmares most of the time.
Right.
I'm
excited.
Let's see, where is it? You know this one very well. Everybody does.
Okay. Well, like, I mean, that's part of the fun of some of this too. And Antoine sent me about 30 or 50 images too that are all labeled, so that'll be great. We'll go through that too.
All right,
we have lots of fun ahead, friend.
It was great seeing. I didn't really get to participate because I didn't want to cloud my my picks, but I was really great seeing everybody throw in their favorites on Twitter. I was checking that out.
we will do a return to this 1000% because it was a very busy week for me, so I didn't have as much time to get to it. All right, so we're gonna add this to the stream. Greg Hildebrand, Mob Rules.
Greg,
How weird is that?
Greg Hildebrand, and I love this album too.
It's so crazy.
But this terrified me, and it still does because this is still possible. I don't know what's going on in this, but cults. I feel like it's a cult, and they're after me. I don't know.
I'm gonna give him a tip of the hat for using the first time that I've ever seen blood-like colors on an album.
And this is watercolor too, which is really odd for what you don't expect for. Well, I don't know if it's watercolor. It could be really watered down oils or whatever you call that. But Tim and Greg, I was real aware of because of the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Right.
That stuff also terrified me. Some of their imagery, like, just put me in this place where I was considering being eaten alive by a giant spider and things like that. I mean, it really, those guys were my Tolkien artists.
Sure.
I know a lot of people like John Howe and those guys, but which I do as well. But the Hildebrands were mine because it was just the lighting and everything. And I was a film fan, and to me, it was just more real. When I looked at it, it was like real. It was terrifying. But this is a big one, huh?
Sword of Shannara was where I first saw the Hildebrands work. They did all the spot illustrations and cover paintings for the Terry Brooks books. So as a kid, I would read Sword of Shannara, Elf Stones of Shannara. Do you know those books?
I wonder. I didn't read them, but I might know the works. But let me see if I get another terrifying.
If you look, he actually painted the devil on this piece of skin.
Right. So maybe these are like some, religious types that are, taking out the devil. I don't know. I don't know. But that's kind of what's fun about this. And I love how Mob Rules.
Yeah.
It's such a great, I don't know. But to me, it's like this was at a time of, like, when I was also starting to absorb British stuff like Pink Floyd, The Wall, not just the song, but the movie. And they had and Doctor Who and things like that, and they had a particular aesthetic that they have a lot of World War One symbolism, with the gas masks and the all that stuff, and it really stuck with me as a very horrifying world because they dealt with a lot more war than we have. So they had this particular look, this kind of brown, very earthy, and then all the movies that I watched too were all made in England, so they all had this kind of aesthetic that I all stuck together as a very particular time. Huh?
Well, the Germans did their best to flatten the.
Yeah. All right, here's another one. One more. This one is also a really well-known one, and also one that horrified me, excited me.
All right,
had a little bit of everything, and this one here.
Oh yeah.
Appetite for Destruction.
I have a Japanese original press of that I got back when the album came out, of the original cover of this one. I like it much better than the Axel's tattoo.
This artist,
Robert Williams.
I have him on here too. He's a really interesting cat because he doesn't look at all like you'd expect. I mean, he's very buttoned down. He looks like he probably draws peanuts rather than this kind of stuff.
Sure.
But when I saw this as a probably teenager, I guess this was like early 90s, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe late 80s, early 90s. But
89 or 88.
Yeah, I was so blown away by the metal, I didn't really understand. Like I was, it was astonishing that somebody could make metal look that cool or that real. And again, the robots with the camera eyes and all that.
Yeah.
I was all into that, and of course, I was discovering girls around that time. So this was, of course, it's a horrifying implication of what's going on in this scene.
Right.
I didn't really understand that as a kid. It didn't really matter. But
even to this day, honestly, I lived through the whole PMRC sort of thing where heavy censorship was aimed at like heavy metal and stuff like that. And I think that's such
hip-hop.
Right.
Two Live Crew, and those guys were coming out having explicit, all over your
Right.
album.
But I still to this day kind of fight for the right for artists to express themselves as long as you're not physically hurting someone.
Mm.
I think that it is important. Like I don't look at this piece and over analyze it. I know that some people might, but for me, when I look at it, I just see a crazy drawing and I go, man, that is like a really weird scenario. But I don't go further than that.
Well, I mean, I was a kid. I grew up on like Heavy Metal the movie and things like that, and there was a lot of mature subject stuff.
Right.
So, and I was single parent kid. I was a latchkey kid, so
Sure.
I exposed myself to a lot of stuff. That
Right.
my mom didn't necessarily know about. But I came out okay.
I mean, I agree. It's not like I listen to music with the craziest lyrics you could ever imagine, and I'm probably the nicest person that you could meet. So it's like
It's always the quiet ones.
right. All right. What else? I love the wood grain. And how it looks like the paint is coming off the wood, so you can see the wood underneath the paint is a real nice touch.
Yeah, so all this stuff was a real influence, and it's funny because I can still see elements of this in my work today, which is really interesting. But
yeah, it's funny. I can see that too. Actually, it's funny.
Yeah, this was a huge one for me, actually. So this is out of my top two. It's this one and the Iron Maiden cover, probably my top two all-time favorite images for my album covers. Anyway, shoot, what you got?
Oh, okay. Well, I was replying to some labels.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I still got some more too, but different stuff that.
Okay. All right.
As an illustrator, I think when I was looking at art as an early age, and I'd see all this different stuff, the stuff that stood out to me most were these illustrations that told kind of a story.
Right.
And I would just stare at them, wondering about the scenario that I was looking at.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so let me go back and share my screen, and I will pull up some goodies. Okay, so I did grab some Roger Dean. I know that everybody was like, man, definitely. I think this is
got a little yes in my collection too.
I have another one that I actually think is a little more interesting, but this is a very nice piece. Roger Dean does these very sort of surreal landscapes. They're cartoony. They're very stylish. This is, it's a beautiful piece. It's a great album. So, but we can move past this one pretty quickly.
Well, no. When I was a kid, I was really I loved this album too, because when I was a kid, I used to watch this cartoon called The Little Prince, and he had this planet that was really tiny, and he would be able to walk around it. And there was a few other things that had that kind of idea too. So when I saw this, I would just stare at it and dream about actually living on this tiny planet like this. I love this stuff.
Yeah. Did you ever read Shel Silverstein as a kid, the poet with the little spot illustrations in his books?
Oh wait, yeah.
Where the sidewalk ends.
Yeah, where the sidewalk ends. Yes, love that stuff.
Here's another beautiful Roger Dean piece.
Which they just stole straight up for that Disney Atlantis movie.
Right. I think that this is the inner gatefold for Close to the Edge, but it could just I'm not positive on that, but it looks like it might be.
That's astonishing. That is exactly.
I love this path
scene in Disney's Atlantis, even with the bridge there.
Right.
It's exact.
It's gorgeous. This is. I mean, imagine. Well, we're both artists. I guess we can imagine. This is really interesting. This looks like a guy climbing over this ledge. Look at this right here. Doesn't this look like someone's back?
Oh yeah, it does.
Arms sort of like crawling up there. Having this on your desk and you're painting this with, I don't even know what is this, acrylic or what is the medium on this? Watercolor pencil? I have no idea.
Yeah, it does have that kind of quality to it. I mean, maybe it's definitely some airbrush in there, but maybe airbrushed layers, and then he went over with pencil on the grass and things like that.
Right. Like
the water and the clouds are straight up airbrush.
It just looks so fun to do. Like I can't not look at this and go, man, that must have been a very satisfying feeling to have this drawing come out of you.
Well, when we were kids, I mean, we didn't have Photoshop or any of that stuff, and so when I looked at this stuff, of course, I was like, how did they do it? Found
Sure.
out it was airbrush, and I was like, what is this? And I didn't have access to one
Right.
until I was taking some art classes, and when you find out what's involved with every spray, you can only do one color.
Sure.
And then you have to wash it all out, delicately pull the thing out, clean it. Same thing with repeatographs. It's so involved,
right,
that I was like, I don't even want to get started. I don't even want to get started in this.
I took an airbrush class in college, believe it or not. And I wasn't even doing art at the time. I mean, I've always been involved in art, but I mean, it was like it was like a random, like, oh, they have an airbrush class. I'd take that. So I took it in college. Okay, so this is an interesting cover. So this is Stan Watts. Wow. I don't know there's a song off of this album that's really good, but here's a funny story about this piece. So and he actually did a Black Sabbath Live Evil is another piece of art he did, which is that.
Is this a photo bash or actual painting?
This is a oil painting. All right, so
gorgeous.
I had this image stuck in my head. I had seen it at some point in my life, and I looked for this piece, not for this video, but about a year ago, for I don't even know, 2 years. I tried to figure out what the fuck this was. I was like, it's a guy in a hotel room and he's like underwater. And that was all I could remember. And there was like a girl or something involved. But yeah, this is such a badass.
I would put this on my wall. Like I would frame this and hang it on my wall as just a piece of art and just stare at it. It's beautiful.
What's funny is, so I love this piece so much and it stood out to me. Didn't know the band, didn't know who the artist was, but what I found funny, and it just shows you how your taste is what your taste is. He did the double live gatefold album for Black Sabbath Live Evil, which is one of my favorite paintings of all times. So when I found out he did that, I was like, fuck yeah, like your taste is on point, Rich.
This looks like this looks like a David Fincher movie. I mean, it's so polished, and I mean the lighting and the staging of it all. I mean, it's so well done. Yeah, you got to send this to me. I want to keep this.
I will for sure. It's funny is I have 2 scans of it in here. Oh, here's like another one. This one's a little more saturated. This is the musician. And like I said, I can't even think of what the album name is. It probably says it on the file. Yeah. So this is Stan.
There's something on the TV.
Yeah. Some sort of weird symbolism. All right. So
I love the little bit of cigarettes that were also kind of lifting up. Drawing you up into the. Oh wow!
So this is the sword. I did this as a tribute to Mark Irwin. Mark suggested a couple of things. And,
I love the sword. Those guys are great.
Yeah, Mark is real tight with them, and they're a great band. But this is a really neat cover. It really has a paperback book cover feel to it.
It does. It kind of reminds me of a Kelly Freas kind of like. Who am I thinking of? There's a guy that does these kind of sci-fi. Not Berkey, but there's another guy that does these kind of.
It's oh man, I can think.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, I do. They talk about him in the Frazetta movie because he was a very, very popular book illustrator, and it's like he has very weird, kind of stylish pieces he does.
Chat knows everything. I'll wait for the answer.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is fun. It's so weird to see that for sword, but anyway,
so this was a suggestion by Mark too, coincidentally. So this is Some Enchanted Evening by Blue Oyster Cult. I'd never ever seen this album cover before.
I love Blue Oyster Cult though. Those guys are really great. I've never seen this.
Yeah, it's trippy.
Airbrush again, cursed airbrush, but.
Like, upside down Ankh, or I don't know, what is that symbol? The like looks like money sign with a cross. I don't know what it is.
It does look kind of like an Ankh, yeah, but off with an Ankh with a question mark.
I always feel like these pieces, they always tried to sneak in like weird sort of like hidden skulls and stuff like that. Like it was just sort of like kind of what you did.
I know Blue Oyster Cult again from from Heavy Metal the movie. That introduced me to a lot of stuff.
All right, so let's pull the chat really quick. Who is the very, very famous artist that did this cover for Black Sabbath? Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. You wouldn't normally think of him as doing anything for Black Sabbath, that's for sure.
God, it almost looks like a Ray Lago painting.
Let's see if anyone gets it. Someone will know. Look, watch the chat until they say it. It rhymes with brew music.
Oh, I know. As soon as you say that, they're gonna know. Atomic Bulldog Art says Drew.
Yeah, it's Drew Struzan. Isn't that weird?
Oh, Seven said Drew Struzan. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Like, who knew Drew Struzan did a Black Sabbath album cover? Like, I had this album in my life for years, never put it together until maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago. I found out that Drew did it, and I was like, what?
He's kind of he's not like what you think. You think
Right.
he'd be like kind of a button-down guy, but he never wears shoes. He's kind of he's kind of hippie. I don't know if he's into rock, but I mean, he must, or maybe it doesn't play into it. But that's such a crazy image.
I know.
I mean, it's like our bed's coming alive.
Yeah, well, and this is Drew right here. This is him modeling for it, and you'll see him on the back cover too. I don't know if it'll come up right after this, but I have the back cover too, and he's on the back cover. I mean, you can definitely recognize it's him.
His style has become legendary, where he would do airbrush layers and then does color pencil to define all the value and rendering and stuff, or highlights.
Pretty neat piece, though, right?
Yeah, it's a trip. It's wild because there's not a lot of contrast.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah, but I love the sort of this whole stretchy, like wrought iron fence with the 666, and it's like turning into human arms. It's so weird. I didn't even notice the rat.
Yeah, it's good. Makes me.
Okay, these came in the Kiss solo albums. This is just a fun thing. They all connected. You would get one in each solo album, and yeah, very, very fun. Very.
Oh, they're like Kiss cereal boxes. Get your Kiss cereal. Yeah. Those are fun.
Like, each side would have like a little bit of the art from the one next to it, and they were kind of die cut, so they would connect. So, but
I love all those stars. I'd love to do graphics like this, but I get really bored after a while of doing repetitive stuff. I mean, that looks like I don't know if I'd have the patience to draw that, but so I could just appreciate it from afar.
Here, I'm going to plant the seed, and you're going to hate me for doing this, but you'll end up doing it now. You need to do a Jack Show piece like this.
Oh yeah,
there you go. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. People have. There's tons of that stuff out there.
But if you did a poster for each of you that connected, like, and you had to collect each one, that'd be funny shit. What would your symbolism, like, what symbolizes you? Is it fire? Is it cats? What's you? Beer, whiskey, cigarettes? Like, what would you be surrounded by?
I'm hard to nail down.
I would be surrounded by penises. No, I'm just kidding.
Probably women.
Women. Oh, okay. Oh, you'd be the lover. You're like Paul. All right. I like it. I like it.
Temp, whatever you want to call it.
So here's Hendrix. This is by Mobius. This is posthumous. This wasn't done while Hendrix was alive. This is called Voodoo Soup.
Yeah, I love the Mobius. And speaking of Hendrix art, there's also a Sienkiewicz Hendrix book that's absolutely amazing. But this stuff, do you have all the rest of Mobius's Hendrix stuff?
I just went for album covers. I don't what other album covers did he do for Jimmy?
Well, I don't know if they're all. He did like a print set, I guess, that coincided with this. I don't know, okay. But there's several different. Maybe he did a bunch of different ones.
Like there's a landscape. I tried to I did try to. It was because it would have been so quick to go into all these different things. I did try to keep it to album covers.
Yeah.
So, if it was a poster or inner gatefold, I was, what I mean? We can always come back and visit this topic more. Antoine had also suggested gig posters.
And those are great. Yeah,
I told him, I said, it's a great idea, but I go, dude, that's like a 20-part series. There's so many gig
I got
posters.
a friend of mine that still makes those this day for bands, and I love that stuff. I love the smoke coming off the hair was very much.
Yeah.
He would do that a lot.
The suit coming to life too is so weird.
Yeah, this is his world. He's tripping out.
Yeah. Oh man, Jimmy would have really loved Mobius. Okay, so this is, I'll just show this really fast. So this is Led Zeppelin In Through the Outdoor. They came sealed in a brown paper sack, so you would never know what album cover you were going to get. But what was interesting is I think that there's 7, maybe it is only 6. But each of the covers is from a different person in the bar's point of view. So depending on what album cover you get, you're looking through someone else's eyes at the scene. It's fucking amazing. This is one of my favorite pieces of art of all time. I'm not even kidding.
Really
like, this is top 2 for me. Look at all the hidden shit in here. Do you see the face right here? It's the eyes. That's the mouth right there. Right. It's so fucking twisted. Look at the position of these chairs, how they swirl. I mean,
like a bar fight just went down, or there's some this dude has a lot of energy swirling around him or something.
It's nuts. This is one of the greatest photos, in my opinion, ever. They just killed it on this.
I love old school photo technique because there's this brush swath through it all, and it makes you wonder, like, how did they do that optically back in the day? A double exposure, something like that. But yeah, they get really good at this stuff.
This isn't like a great piece, but this is Alex Gray tool Lateralis.
Okay, that was one of mine. Yeah, the cover for that. Some trippy stuff.
Yeah, Alex has done a lot of art for Tool, but the album covers aren't so indicative of it. So this is Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny. It's a pretty cool cover, honestly. I mean, I love the album, and the illustration's really, really nice.
Who's the artist of this?
I don't know, honestly. I really don't.
It's really great. Good composition with the wings.
Yeah, beautiful colors. I always like the blending of the colors.
Yeah, I love stuff when they put purple and green into the shadows and stuff.
Yeah, and this is real nice. Oops, sorry, went the wrong way. Over in here, this area with the like that weird kind of yellowish smoke that goes into the different colors.
Mm-hmm. Magic.
Yeah. Do you want to do a few more now?
Or do you want me to keep going?
Okay.
All right, I got a couple fun ones. I could do one.
Okay, back into this. Okay, so stop sharing screen. Okay.
Again, this is one everybody knows, and I did track down the artist, but I don't know if it's all that necessary. Everybody knows this art, but this was my tape cover. I never got the album, if there ever was one. Yeah.
How funny! I pulled this up too.
This is classic, and I was in. I don't know. It's right before junior high, I guess, maybe, when this came out, and our gym teacher would play this and just sit on his ass while we did jumping jacks and ran, and he would just play this album. So before I even owned this album, I knew all the lyrics and everything because it would play every day in my gym. But as reading about this, I'm not sure. There's Robert. What's his name?
Robert, is that Robert Williams?
Yeah, Robert Williams. Cool. Okay, here we go. So this is kind of fun. I don't know where it says the artist's name. World B. Ohms.
Okay.
But they talk about this. I didn't notice this, but this says "Eat Me."
Oh yeah. Come on, you never realized that?
No, I didn't. I didn't even notice the Def Jam there.
Oh, right. That's funny.
I just saw the airplane and
the other side of it with the smack in front where it looks like a cigarette.
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't. Yeah, it's been so long ago since I looked at this stuff. So
the other side, it's crashed into something, and it looks like cigarette.
Yeah, I saw the full. They had the full album cover here. I thought. Oh well, they did. Where you could see.
It's such a good album. Oh my god, so many good songs on it.
So let's see. Okay, this is. I got 2 versions of this one. But Santana's.
Oh yeah, Abraxas. That's so good.
And I have a I have a clean one that's like the full
That
album.
album, that album is so kick ass.
Look at
Oh my
this.
god,
It's
it's so
madness.
yeah.
But I mean, I for one thing, I was just now discovering like nude women, at
Right.
this time, and then to see like a black woman like in recline like this was really a trip for me. I was like, wow. And then this one, like a red like angel with all these
Oh wow.
tattoos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
this.
I was staring at this for hours because like a whole village down here on the edge of a
Oh
lake.
yeah, yeah. Do you know who
Uh,
did the art on this?
I want to say, yeah. Let me see if I got it real
So it's
quick.
funny. When I was a kid, like a teenager, I was friends with a girl, and her dad was the Congo player for Santana.
Oh, really?
So whenever I would see Santana live, I would always look for the guy playing the bongos, and I'd be like, "That's her dad."
Oh man, I loved Santana as a kid. This is
Oh, by Mati Klarwein.
Clarween back in 1961. So I think it was just a piece of art that
Beautiful.
they probably
Yeah.
but 128 by 88 centimeters. That seems big. I don't
Uh,
know.
uh,
Centimeters?
4 inches by 6 inches. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
He could draw really small. Yeah,
I
120
wonder if this is the artist right here.
could be.
Hmm.
I'm a big Mars Volta fan. Mars Volta has some really, really crazy album covers. Most are done by Hypnosis, which is Storm Thorgerson. But yeah, it's good shit.
All right, later, Victor. Victor's got to go.
Oh, bye, Victor. See you later.
Hmm.
I almost brought Van Halen's 1984 cover. I don't think I grabbed it, but it was definitely one that I kept circling back to. All right, so you want me to do some more?
Yeah, what you got?
Oh, I've got a ton.
I don't have that many, so I'm gonna keep it.
The discussion is what's fun. You know what I mean? It's like we can talk about anything. I mean, in terms of the art, right? So this was In Flames. I just saw this. I know the band. I don't know their music really good, but I thought this was kind of a cool piece just for a contemporary album that actually looks to be hand painted. Like it looks to be traditional to me. Might not be, but
it looks. I mean, what were you thinking? It's not painted.
I think it is. I think it's traditional. It doesn't look digital to me, but maybe it is.
Yeah, it's got like a grain to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
But like we were looking at those Kiss covers, look digital to me, and those are straight up old school airbrush. So
right. Well, what ends up happening, as you know, is like pixelization just on the JPEG will make it look like it could be digital. So it's difficult to zoom in and really be able to get an idea. I thought the colors were nice. It's kind of a neat idea. It looks cool.
I like it. Yeah.
So this is Incantation, I think. I thought this was a really, really badass looking painting, though.
Yeah. Wow.
Super, super creepy.
Yeah, I want this one too. You got to send me this one too. That is great.
Yeah, I saw this when I was searching around for stuff, and I was like, "Damn, this is fire!" So this is called Profane Nexus, possibly.
Gosh, well, I mean, I'm doing I'm working on my own book, which kind of has like a hell setting. This is this is kind of fun. It kind of reminds me of Barlow's Inferno a little bit.
Right.
I wonder if Barlow. It doesn't really look like Barlow's style, but close.
This is super. It's very almost has like a Frank Turan kind of structure to it. You know.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
It's like you can see like a Rosetta influence, but it's so filtered through hell that it's very weird. I'm sure
all the stuff in the background. There's like all these.
Look at the face of this person right here. Is really fucking disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want to live in that place. I mean, it's kind of fun with like these album covers. It's like, why do we like looking at this dark imagery?
I did a lot of work for death metal bands about 7 years ago, and here's the back of the Struzen piece. And so I got really into death metal for a year or two, and was really interesting checking out all the different artwork for. Oops, sorry, I was gonna.
This is for death metal?
No. This is Struzen. This is the Struzen, the back cover for Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. But yeah, and that looks like Drew in the bed.
He's doing some weird color experimentation. This must have been like this is early Struzen stuff though. Like
Yeah, this would have been probably 1980.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of the king of the 80s movie poster scene, so maybe that happened pretty fast. But I know he does a lot of experimental art on his own.
Yeah.
Uh that's like this, with just weird imagery and
Yeah. He was really into line deck early. So here's a Frazetta. I had forgot that Frazetta, they used the Frazetta piece for this Nazareth album cover.
of course.
But
It's
yeah,
so funny. It would be fun to see what is the Frazetta piece that is the most licensed. Like
right. This is a great scan of it. Like whatever the photo that they took of it, I mean, you can really, really see the canvas. Like, look at this shit. It's a
yeah,
very, very beautiful photo.
that's fun.
And it's crazy. So
I
that's
love
Nazareth.
I love the square format of the albums. Like I still and the studio book that the
Right.
guys do for the studio. It's the same dimensions as an album cover.
Sure.
Almost like they intended you to stick it with their albums, like not into comic books or books.
Here we
Oh,
go. Derek Wood, The Trooper. So this is not an album cover, but this was for the single The Trooper. And they made I have a blacklight poster of this that I bought as a teenager. But man, this is such a kick-ass piece. So good. So iconic and just so badass for,
I mean, Eddie was an icon for a lot of us growing up at this time. I mean, I always took note of the new album cover art.
It's just so fun.
I mean, I can't believe they didn't do. I mean, what an interesting movie concept would be to take this, and the concepts behind this character and like the music and like make a rock opera kind of movie out of it.
The guy that I worked for was handled a lot of this stuff for Maiden, and they have all kinds of plans for Eddie, but things changed with COVID and all that in terms of like what they were going to spend money on, because you figure Maiden's a touring band, they generate a lot of income touring, and with no touring for 2 years potentially, they're looking at other things. It's funny. So I actually have a friend that has this tattoo, but he's a Marine. So this is the Marine Corps flag instead of.
That's great.
Yeah, it's funny, right? But he got it when we were probably like 19 or 20 years old. It's funny shit.
What's great about some of these album covers is the iconic quality of them, and I don't know if that's because we're used to seeing them for so long and listening to them, or if it's the other way around. They become iconic because of the art, and
I'm trying to remember the name of this band. It's DES. Oh man, I can't read it. I saw that.
I don't know.
I think that's an M. I think it's AEM at the end. But anyway, this is almost looks like a Barlow's Inferno piece too. I wasn't sure if it was or not, but it's actually a beautiful painting, and it looks traditional to me. Like this is probably oil on canvas.
Yeah.
Oil on board. It's really, really nice.
There's a digital artist, Craig Mullins, that has a look that's kind of like this, but he's very influenced by the old Renaissance. This has that same kind of lighting and color.
Yeah, Beksinski, Barlow.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, I imagine like if that's a real place, then it would look something like that.
So Dust is a band. I actually own this album, and it was funny is I bought it for the music, not so much for the Frazetta cover.
Just a bonus.
it was a bonus. So for Record Store Day about 8 years ago, this was one of the featured Record Store Day releases. They re-released it, repressed it. But yeah, it's funny. It's Frazetta painting, man, on a cover of an album that probably many, many people don't know. And I would highly recommend the band. It is really good.
Andrew Tazo once says, if you could read it, it wouldn't be a real death metal band.
Right. No, exactly. Yeah. That's kind of the goal, is it should be as encrypted as possible. Okay. This was just something random that I found, but I actually am a big fan of this kind of art where it's like just sort of photos montage together. So I just threw this.
is that really a photo bash?
Yeah, it's like a pastiche. It's like it's the Golden Gate Bridge. It's UFOs. It's people on vacation or old, travel pamphlets, and they
See,
just kind of.
I'm also kind of into that. It goes back to that British aesthetic that I was talking about. You got like Terry Gilliam, and
I love it.
a
Love
lot
it.
of their aesthetic was like that photo bashed kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have a few paintings that I've have set up that I want to do that are like this. It's funny. I've never done them because it's kind of controversial stuff, but at some point I'll get the balls to do it. I I can't remember I can't remember what record this was, but I thought this was an interesting little drawing. It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of like a Tim Burton feel to it. It's like faces, tongues, and I don't even know.
It looks cool though.
Yeah.
I'm dying to get back into painting, man. You can have this kind of stuff.
I thought this was interesting. It was a little different. So this is Erica Badu, believe it or not. And it's a nice little drawing. It's kind of got a little bit of a Seth Fisher feel to me.
It does.
Yeah. It's cool. It's a really cool little drawing.
She's an interesting cat. I mean, this it's funny seeing this piece and like she's out there. She's really like has fun. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff in the flowers. There's like a baby.
Oh yeah, no, it's awesome. Like I said, yeah, there's a lot of babies being born in the things. It's funny. It's a fun piece. It really is. It's neat. I love drawings like this where you can kind of you can spend quality time with it and find new little things. So that's that. So this is another Yes album cover. I didn't remember it, but I thought it was again it's the naked kid 70s theme.
The kid peeing. I mean, what the.
I know.
I don't remember this piece.
It's a nice painting, though. I mean, it's got a little bit of like a Maxfield Parrish kind of vibe to me. Like some of this. Do you know the photographer Jan Sadek? No. She does some real beautiful photography that has this look. It's very, I don't know, what do you call this look when it's so it's not high contrast, but I can't think of the name.
I guess so high contrast, but it's really hard to do that these days. But there was some sort of like way you could do it photographically to make that super high contrast,
right?
Which I guess would be easier to color. I mean,
here's the back.
Oh,
here's the back of that Savoy Brown cover that I was talking about here again.
Oh yeah, I actually love this kind of the pen and ink with the watercolor, and it doesn't really stay in the lines and stuff. I love that.
It's really, really cool art, man. You know what? It almost has a little bit of the old school Disney concept art feel, like this right here, this area.
Well, that's what I was getting at too. Like the backgrounds for 101 Dalmatians have that ink line with just the water, the splotchy colors. I always like that kind of look.
Yeah, so cool. But yeah, looking in Savoy Brown, man, what a power pack thing. Oh, and here's Ken
from Grateful Dead.
Yeah, it's Rick Griffin. Sorry.
Has he done all their covers?
No, they have all kinds of different album covers, but he's a very iconic poster artist for them for sure. One of them. This is a beautiful piece. The lettering is fantastic. The actual illustration itself is really, really killer. And it's a very iconic piece. Let me pull out a little bit. So you can see it. These little urns with the smoke. Man, it's just great shit.
Getting a request for the Rainbow Goblins.
Rainbow Goblins, is it a band or is it
I think so. It's really cool stuff. It's in that vein.
This is another one of those photo pastiche things that I just think are kind of
fun.
I don't know the band or the artist, but it's like
so I was trying to think of the artist who does comics, John Van Fleet. A lot of his early work looks like this, like he did a horror comic which I can't remember the name of, but it's all photo bashed like this.
Right.
And he's like the first guy to do the photo bash comic in a way that feels like a real comic. The storytelling is really important, where a lot of photo bash fumetti, I guess you call it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Doesn't seem to work. Well, I think fumetti is just straight photography comics, but to actually blend stuff together, cutouts and recolor and all that. I don't know if that's something different.
Here we go.
Oh wow!
So this is for the single for Aces High. Iron Maiden. Beautiful painted work by Derek Riggs. Just gorgeous.
Yes, going back to Heavy Metal the movie, there's that scene, that one story bit with the pilots. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, so creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he is in that cockpit tight. There is just no breathing room. It's so claustrophobic.
Yeah, it adds to the kind of terrifying bit of it.
It was interesting. So when I worked for Iron Maiden, they wanted me to do pen and ink because they liked my black drawings, and so I was trying to figure out a way to create this cloud effect that Derek would do, but with pen and ink. So I ended up doing stippling, like almost doing it like his pixels, so that I could get the smoothness of his clouds and nighttime skies and stuff like that. It was very, very tricky.
I love the bullets going through the glass and then through Eddie. Like there's
right. Yeah, he's got he's got a few.
The scuff paint on the edges, man. On the
this right here. I know, isn't that a nice touch?
So good.
And this. I'm telling you, Derek, it's like his stuff is very accessible. So, you go, yeah, Derek Riggs is cool. But then when you really look at it and you go, he's actually very, very good too. Very good.
Yeah, I'm getting in my older age with like my art, I'm like more interested in doing that kind of thing where you don't have to investigate it to find out why it's good. Or why it's interesting. It's right. These are like iconic, immediately graspable ideas, unlike this. I almost pulled this one actually.
Yeah, it has a little bit of like a Salvador Dali feel, but it's also got that vaporwave lo-fi montage thing going on too. But it's a beautiful piece. Very, very
I love
cool.
that face. Is that it looks like a photograph, but that's definitely painted, right?
For sure.
It's so well done.
Yeah,
that's almost Corbin again.
Right, it is. Quality. Yeah, really, really beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
Fun shit. Okay, what else? Okay, so here is a Budgie album cover. So, and this is Roger Dean, I think. I could be wrong. I don't want to say that for a fact. But Budgie is a pretty heavy rock band.
I don't think I've ever seen this. This is really great, though.
It's funny, right? I have another Budgie piece too.
I love this guy in the red outfit. Is he like a space guy? But it looks
he's got a parakeet head. It's like it's the weirdest shit.
Oh, I like this.
This looks like some genitalia going on here. I don't know what I'm seeing.
Can we do a comic with that character and not get sued?
Yeah, you can do it.
He's a great looking character. I want to see more adventures with that.
What's funny is someone said when one of the teasers I posted was a different Budgie cover, and they wanted you to create a theme song for the Budgie parakeet warriors.
That's
really,
awesome.
Really nice. I don't know if this is watercolor or what they used for the medium, but it looks
like watercolor. Yeah,
I'm thinking this is Roger Dean. Honestly, this has a Roger Dean vibe to me.
It does. Either that or someone very inspired by him, but that does have a. But Dean's like mostly airbrush stuff. Oh wow!
So this is the full gatefold for the Some Enchanted Evening Blue Oyster Cult. So this is obviously a photograph in the back, but
man, if they'd have connected those two and made like a giant panorama, that'd been sweet.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It looks like the same background image. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not.
No, this is right. This is that right there.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's like pulled back a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little different. Oh, okay. This is the back of Live Evil. So this is hand painted, and this is the same guy that did that hotel room piece. You'll see the front in a second. But Stan Watts, and this is gorgeous too. Honestly, the lighting on this painting is absolutely beautiful.
It looks like a photograph again.
Yeah, Stan's legit. He's really, really fucking great painter, and you'll see the cover for this is fantastic. So this is 1982. Oh, this is
another. It's hard to do like foam in water and stuff and have it look like what it's supposed to look like. That's really
this is Barren Earth. I just thought
Again,
this.
that's like terrifying. Like you look there and you wonder if that was a real thing. You know,
Right. Like, yeah, instead of prisons, we just lock people in cement cells.
hey, but this is true. We're all a prisoner of our own sort of
Right. Sure, sure.
little box.
I remember going home one night and really thinking about like how we live in houses and stuff like that and how claustrophobic it could be. I mean, you could see how like a crazy person would not be able to handle it, but
Mm.
somehow we just sort of go, oh, it's normal to like sleep in a 12 by 12 box every night.
It is interesting when you think about it, like when the power goes out and it's super quiet and
Yeah.
you realize that everybody's like huddled in, their
This
little
is a great
boxes.
story. So this I'm
Oh,
gonna call possibly the worst album cover ever by one of the ever. But there's a very, very funny story about this, and I feel so bad for the artist. So to his defense,
this was his prelim before painting it, but they ran out of
exactly,
time.
he was like, how do you like this idea? And they're like, perfect.
And then they just used it. They did.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Look at the anatomy on this because it's been the 3D model. Like, look at the hand.
Right, he
Really
broke
great.
it, but he probably would have painted it great.
Sure. Yeah. And so what's funny is like he's horrified. Like you can actually find a few very short interviews where I mean he doesn't even acknowledge this is like a piece of his art. And Maiden finally did a re-release and they actually don't use this piece anymore. But I love the baby dancing on the wolf or whatever. I don't even know what is going
Did
on.
the artist get to finish it? Do what he wanted?
No, this is it. This is how it went
Oh
out.
wow!
They literally took his just like sort of a prelim, look at her arm. It's completely collapsing the model because it's extended past work and
Hey, lesson to all the guys out there using digital. This could happen to you. All
they're
your
like
Blender models and whatnot.
Bruce is like at the pub on his cell phone like having a few beers and they like sent it to him. He like saw the thumbnail and he went, yeah, let's use it, we don't need to pay him for more.
It's like seeing Photoshop elements still
Yeah.
that had gone to print. You're like, oh, I can see
So
see all the details.
this is the Stan Watts hotel room with the guy swimming. This is his cover for Black Sabbath Live Evil. And this is such a beautiful, great painting. And if you're a Sabbath fan, you know that these are all references to song. We've got Children of the Sea, Iron Man, War Pigs, Mob Rules, Neon Knights, Heaven and Hell, War Pigs, Paranoid. It's just so badass.
Yeah, it reminds me of The Fog, when the guys are walking out of the ocean.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. I just love this piece.
I feel like it's the contrast has been pumped up on this. It makes me want to see like another scan. Like, is it supposed to be this dark?
It's about like this.
Actually, I might have my monitor down really low too.
It reads about like this on the original cover.
Yeah.
I have it on vinyl. It's about like this. Yeah, that looks about right.
So good.
Yeah, look at the wings on this angel. How beautifully painted they are.
Yeah, everything is immaculate. The feathers on the guy's head there.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
Love it.
Oh, here's the Hendrix again. Voodoo Soup.
All right, dude. We got it. What are we doing today? It's one. We've done like an hour and 28.
You gotta go? Do you gotta go?
I do. I got like so much stuff to do, so I can't stay
we
too
can
much
wrap it up. We can always do part 2 here. Let me get back into the screen here really quick.
You can keep going if everybody still wants to keep going.
Well, I'm in the same spot as you. I have a ton of shit to do. We can always come back to this. So yeah.
Here, I'll let me show one more.
Sure.
Here we go. Show one more. This was a big one for me.
I have to stop sharing my screen for a sec. Okay, go ahead. Is it coming up? There it is. All right. Add to stream. Oh wow, nice. Who's the artist? You know?
I don't know. It's a Rankin Bass cartoon, and I don't. It was. I know they based a lot of their stuff on Arthur Rankin,
Right.
who was the grandfather or father. I think grandfather of the Rankin from Rankin Bass. But this was like a storybook. It came in like this box. You'd pull the box off, and they'd have this book, and it would
Right.
flip through the story. And I stared at this thing so much. I'm not even in a fantasy guy. Like I don't really like fantasy all that much, but I love the style, the pen and ink with the
Oh
watercolor.
yeah,
And
no, fantastic. It's really,
I,
really good.
I don't know that when I was a kid, I looked at that and went, fantasy. I love fantasy or sci-fi. It was more just like whatever grabbed my attention.
Right.
Generally it was sci-fi, but I love the style of this. I still love the style of this. I think it'd be fun to do the pen and ink with the watercolory kind of look.
Right. Yo, you could definitely, dude. I mean, you could draw the shit out of this stuff, man.
Mm.
Were you
So
ever
I
a
had a
fan,
lot of weird albums growing up. That was
were you a fan of like Brian Froud and those books?
uh I'd seen them. I'm like wasn't into fantasy too much. Like
Oh,
there was the guy that did the gnomes. There was a great book on the
yeah,
gnome stuff. I remember watching that cartoon, as a kid. But and I love
yeah,
the style. Again, it's very similar to that kind of watercolor with the lines and but it anime was starting to come out. And I was I was into Voltron and Transor Z,
sure, sure.
Bazinger. I don't know, but yeah. So I still wish I had all these, man. I don't know where they went. There's a lot of stuff like toys and albums that I lost and moved. So I don't know what happened to
Yeah.
all this stuff. But the albums were one of the big regrets. It's like, man, I had so many classics. I had
Did
Rick
you
James, man. I had some Rick James.
you think you threw them out, or did your mom sell them, or like what?
No, I kind of inherited them, and then I did a lot of moving around as a kid, so
Okay,
I'm pretty sure I just got lost in the shuffle, or I gave them to
right,
somebody, and then of course the tapes and CDs, and then everybody's like, oh, I don't need that stuff again, and then
right.
there's no way I'm going to maintain an old record player, and now you can buy them again in Walmart.
Yeah.
So I'm half tempted. Oh wait, 1 second. I got one more before we go.
Yeah,
This will be a fun one.
this would be my recommendation for anyone out there, though. Don't buy one of the new turntables. Just buy a good conditioned used one. They'll be way better. You don't want to get those unless you're going to spend a lot of money. So look here, we'll definitely do a part 2 and probably a part 3, because I didn't even get to Antoine's folder, which was, he has everything labeled with the artists, and I still had a ton of stuff open. And honestly, like preparing for this, there was so much material that we could go through. So don't worry if we're ending this one a little earlier than we normally would, because we'll definitely come back to this, and I'll make sure. Yeah, Mastodon does have some great covers. But yeah, we'll definitely do more. All right, what's he got here?
All right, this is a buddy of mine sent me this. They've been, because albums and stuff have been getting back into play. They've been doing re-releases of old
Oh yeah,
stuff
that's nice.
with new covers, and like this is a Jeff Darrow
Yeah,
like cover for the Big Gun Down, which is a Ennio Morricone soundtrack. But
that's cool.
check this out. Ta-da!
Oh man, wow, that is
See if I can
awesome.
get full screen here.
Damn, that
But
is so wow.
yeah, he's then you can see like he's got every character. It's kind of got a
That is so awesome.
and I forgot the other side is also a giant.
Right. Damn, dude. Wow.
So anyway, that's just a fun one. It's the only album I have now, thanks to a buddy of mine. It's just so fun. It makes me want to get back into like collecting for music and the art. It's like a whole fun thing. But I know it's like that's a whole rabbit hole I'll go down and spend tons of money. And
Well, Here's this is what I'm going to tell you is if you ever have to move and you have a big vinyl collection, it is heavy as shit.
I bet. I mean, I used to have mine in these milk crates, with
Yeah,
the handles, so
yeah,
they're really easy to kind of move
ridiculously heavy. Man, that was a great finisher, man. That thing, that Jeff Darrow piece was amazing.
Yeah, it's probably still out there if you guys, for
Definitely.
the collectors that do collect this stuff.
I would buy that. I would buy that for sure. Okay, well, thank you guys all for tuning in. We will definitely do a follow up to this, and I'm not sure what we're going to do next week. It's kind of your pick. I think like we'll play it by ear maybe for a day or two, but you start kicking around ideas in your noggin. Unless you have
we never did do the Jeffrey Catherine Jones one. We could do that.
Okay.
It would be fun to come back to album covers because there were so many iconic photo covers that I remember that I was like, I can't use those because we're doing just artwork. But it would be fun to revisit this with other stuff. There's some ones that are just straight graphic,
right?
Lots of imagery of or graphic shapes. And things.
Sure, no, I totally agree. It was tough. Like I felt like it helped us at least do this, having it only be art or illustrations overall.
I love the band poster idea. I think old school magazine illustration too might be interesting. I don't know if there's anything you guys can think of like outside the box that isn't comics but artwork that really moved you throughout time. I mean, please let us know. Maybe we can do something with it.
Yeah, because I had said I did Super Fun Sunday this past weekend, and I did Norman Rockwell, and it was just I just wasn't in a comic book mood, and so I was for me, I mean, I would do a Rembrandt show, but I know that would really, it would put people. Some people were like, "What? Like, dude, come on, Rembrandt!" But
it's kind of like an easy one, yeah.
Right.
Why don't you do Picasso while you're at it?
Right. Some days I don't feel like doing comics. It's like
I mean, I love that stuff because my influences started outside of comics, and then I got into comics. I was like, oh, cool, and then it immediately went to everybody on the fringes of comics. We're doing all the weird stuff and the outlaw stuff, and that's kind of part of the fun is seeing what else all these guys do and people outside of that. That's why I love this. The album cover art thing was a really fun idea.
Yeah, we're getting good suggestions in the comments.
Novel covers. Oh my god, so many.
Yeah.
I would buy books just for the cover and never read them.
Sure. Joe Jesco talks about stealing Frazetta covers as a kid. He would look them. Oh, Soriyama. Yeah, we could do Soriyama.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Jesco, I met him years ago. He's a fun guy.
Yeah. So he was a cop at some point?
He was Chicago. I think he was a Chicago cop, actually.
That's crazy. That's so true. Yeah. So, all right, everyone, we're going to sign out and talk to you guys next week. So, all right, have a great day, everyone. Talk to you guys later. We could do manga. Kelsey.
I got tons of. I grew up when manga first started coming in, manga and anime. I was right in it from day one. So, I would love
that. Famous animators would be amazing. Okay.
All right, we'll have to schedule these.
Yeah. It'll be awesome. All right.
Make plans.
Okay. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.